Good morning. It's Tuesday, the 14th of September. Now, I do like a good book, but as cupboards filled up and shelves overflowed and full carrier bags were deposited at the Oxfam bookshop, I vowed not to buy any more books. I even bought a Kindle, as modern technology would help to save space. Now, Kindles are great when going on holiday. You can take lots of books with almost no weight. You can read in the dark without straining your eyes or disturbing snoozing partners. And yes, this thin Kindle holds dozens of books, including a full version of the Bible. But you can't beat a proper book with proper paper pages. Most books provide you with a good story or lots of fascinating ideas and new information. And this week I was given a book that is a history book called The Country and Church of the Cheeryble Brothers. It was written by the Reverend William Hume Elliot in 1893, and it tells the story of the Grant brothers who left their home in the Spey Valley of Scotland and walked to Lancashire, where they settled and built a successful textile industry. It's believed that the brothers were the model for the Cheeryble brothers who Dickens wrote about. The book gives a history of the town, but also about the divisions and upsets in the Congregational Church that resulted in threats and schisms and a lockout that prevented the minister having access to the church building. In a few years' time, they would hand over the building to the Church of England, and a new Congregational Church would be built, splitting the congregation down the middle, I expect. Very exciting times. But this book tells an additional story. It contains a label proclaiming that it was given as a Sunday school prize to Frank Taylor by the Free United Methodist Church in Ramsbottom in 1893. Frank was 14 years old at the time, but in 1935 he sold the book to his younger brother John. John Taylor was my grandpa. John bought it because the author of the book had lived at Woodhill House when he was writing the book, and the house now belonged to one of John's sons, my Uncle Edgar. When Edgar died, his older brother, Harry, obtained the book, and on his death it was passed to his son, Bert. Now, one of Bert's friends was given the book, and she recently died. But she'd left a note that the book was to be given to me, John Taylor's only surviving grandchild. This history is now written up in a variety of handwriting styles on a page at the beginning of the book. A history book, then, with a story of its own. A story about Congregationalism and intertwined with social history and Methodism. So what's your story? The Story Project is a joint Methodist Church and Cliff College project that encourages people to tell their stories and testimonies, and you can follow it online. You never know, you might find someone you recognise amongst the 101 stories. The Bible is full of stories. Many are about nations, but some are very personal, and we can all add to these stories with our own. Sarah Webb spoke about listening to others in a recent reflection. What do you know about the people who sit near you in church? What do they know about you? What do you know about the people who pass you when you're walking your dog? What do they know about you? And what do you know about the delivery man who calls regularly? And again, what does he know about you? I remember Eileen Rawson's story about talking to people on the bus to Ilkley. Ask her about it sometime. So, what is your story? To whom have you told it? But how have you told it? And moreover, whose story have you listened to? Luke says, "What you say flows from what is in your heart, for out of the overflow of the heart the mouth speaks." I'm not going to end with a prayer today, but I'd ask you to please spend a moment thinking about your unique and valuable story. You are an important and wonderful part of God's creation. Have a good day, and thank you for contributing to history.
Thank you for joining us today. If you appreciate these reflections, please like and share so that we can continue to share the message of God's love.